So now we're going to talk about when to feed. And first, let's talk about the frequency of feeding, and then we'll talk about schedules. So by 9 months, you should have a goal of serving 3 meals per day to your baby. An easy way to achieve this is by adding 1 additional meal per month starting at 8 months. So 1 meal at 6 to 7 months, 2 meals at 8 months, and then 3 meals at 9 months. By 12 months, your baby should also be eating 2 to 3 snacks per day. So you can easily achieve this by adding 1 snack per day starting at 10 months. Now, let's talk about when to feed in relation to milk feeding. So by milk, I mean breast milk or formula. So until 12 months, you want breast milk or formula to be your child's primary source of nutrition. So you can either switch to offering food first at 12 months or make a methodical change. So that's my personal preference, but you can do what works best for your family. So a quick note, if your baby seems to not want to eat when you do offer table foods, try offering table foods 30 minutes after milk feeding instead of immediately after milk feeding, because then they might not be quite so full and be more willing to try things that you're putting on their tray in front of them. So if you're going to be methodical about shifting to serving food before milk, rather than just doing it all at once at 12 months, I recommend feeding table foods after milk feeds until around 10 months. And then after that, you can start transitioning to offering food before milk by 1 meal per day, starting at 10 months. So by 12 months, you're offering food before milk at most or all meal times. And again, the general end goal here is to start offering meals before milk at 12 months old. So now what about the frequency of milk feedings as we start to transition to solid foods playing a bigger role in your baby's nutrition? So there really isn't a right or wrong answer here. I encourage parents to follow a responsive feeding model, which is to listen to baby's cues and feed them at the breast or at the bottle on demand. So for me, for my first, I went back and looked at her app schedule that I have in my phone of when I tracked all her breast milk feedings. I was offering breast milk 4 to 5 times per day at 9 months, in addition to 3 meals. I was offering breast milk 3 to 4 times per day at 11 months, in addition to 3 meals and probably 1 snack. And then at 13 months, I was feeding her at the breast 2 to 3 times per day, in addition to 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks. And then 1 to 2 times per day at the breast, at 15 months, which is when we weaned, in addition to her 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks. So some mamas choose to fully wean from breast milk or formula completely at 12 months. Some mamas choose to breastfeed their toddler until they're more than 3 years old. Both are totally okay. There are some nuances which we'll touch on in a later video, but I do want to mention 3 things here first. If you wean off of breast milk or formula right at 12 months, it's very important to replace this with a source of calcium, protein, healthy fats, and calories. And we'll touch on this calcium and milk shift in a later video. Now, cow's milk is a great option once your baby hits 12 months, but it's not the only option. If you choose to breastfeed more frequently during the day as your baby passes the 12-month mark, it's important to ensure that they're getting a wide variety of nutrients through table food, that their weight is increasing as expected, and that breast milk is not displacing table food. So it's generally not recommended to continue infant formula well into toddlerhood. Now, that's a little bit different if you're breastfeeding. So there's no recommended limit on breastfeeding as long as your baby is growing well and their table food is not limited. But if you're serving, or if your baby is taking infant formula, typically the recommendation is to start to wean it once they surpass that 12-month age and head into toddlerhood. But I do want to reiterate here that every kiddo is different and that you don't necessarily have to stick to a certain schedule as long as you're offering all the nutrients that your baby needs and they're growing well. So if you have questions about breastfeeding or formula, make sure that you reach out to your pediatric dietitian or lactation consultant, because they can help you navigate this area if you have specific needs for your infant.